You're with a consulting firm. Is this your own firm?
Yes. Partners, Firm and Taylor and Markham. We do consulting for people who own commercial and industrial property having to do with their tax liabilities and depreciation schedules. It's an engineered study that allows a company to take their assets, their fixed assets, and instead of depreciating the majority of them evenly over 30 years, or I'm sorry, 39 years, we can pull 0.5% off the back end and pile it up on the front end and make a significant tax break for them.
You're neither Firm and Taylor or Markham. Is there a reason that you're named? Are you a co-owner?
I am. There are three of us, and we all chose our mother's maiden names. It had a much better ring than our real names. So.
Got it. Your website mentioned an effort in that you're involved in an effort in your hometown to bring new jobs to the area. Can you tell us?
Yeah, I've been involved with the Development Council in the Back Mountain, having to do with the Back Mountain Business Association. They commissioned a study in '06 to try to find out, what was it about the Back Mountain that made it special, unique, and attractive. And the conclusion was that it's primarily quality of life. That's the big driver. And so as a business consortium, we recognized that probably the most significant thing we could do to do that is to try to help all of those various aspects, government and private industry and consumers, to come together in one place. First, appreciate what they have, because I think, often we get so busy with life, we fail to appreciate the good things around us, the things that make life, wonderful. And so develop or strengthen the appreciation, and then also sort of look to the future and say, if we want to keep it like this or make it better, what would we as volunteer individuals do? And so we started something called the Economic Development Council. And our purpose is to primarily, for our narrow focus, is to primarily bring businesses to the area, to the Back Mountain, that are suitable, that don't fundamentally change the nature of the community, but would create additional career opportunities for our children and continue to improve, shopping and whatever other opportunities there are.
Can you point to some examples? Has it been successful to this point?
Well, we have an event coming up on April 22nd, which I hope will be very successful. We have we're calling it Experience the Back Mountain 2010. And it is a combination of a business fair and a sort of PR opportunity for our local businesses. It's an outreach to the students. We've really built a bunch of modules into it to try to make it as broad as possible, so that we're reaching out to consumers and saying, come find out what shops are local, reaching out to students and saying, you don't have to always jump on the Cross Valley if you want to go somewhere. You could go to a local establishment. To say to our local establishments, look, you have two significant population bases that you're not effectively reaching with your marketing efforts. Reach out to these students. They spend money. They get involved. They do things. And both universities have been very, very helpful in that effort.
How long has the council been operating?
We started on this aspect of the effort probably last fall, I think, although it seems like it's been 6 years. But the nascent portion of it was the study, which was 2006. That's when it was.
Now, your wife had mentioned that you hadn't politics much, but weren't you involved in some Tea Party rallies last year?
Yes, I did speak at one or two Tea Party rallies and was involved in organizing them. And in fact, that's where the theme of my campaign came from. I was asked by one of the organizers to come and speak, and I did. And before I spoke, I kind of went around and asked people, "Why are you here?" Because there were guys with multiple piercings and body tattoos. There were little old ladies and grandmas, and there were guys packing. I mean, it was a wide assortment of people, and they all had various reasons why they were there. But the thing that impressed me most was that there was a unified purpose, and it was a sense of disempowerment. Whatever their issue was, they felt no one was listening. They felt no one was giving voice to their concerns, and that the explosion of the debt, as we talked about, like their concerns were being ignored. Wait a minute, how's that going to be paid for? What are we going to do? And so that's where I came up with the theme of my speech at the time. I'm kind of an extemporaneous speaker. I don't do a lot of preparation in terms of writing out a speech most of the time, to the chagrin of my political consultant. But I speak from the heart, And so when I talked, I emphasized the theme of "We the People," and it has become the theme of my campaign.
In what ways do you think Chris Carney wasn't serving his constituents?
Well, I think the health care vote is a very significant one, and he continues to say that the tide is turning and people are supportive of it. But there was a poll in early March, a scientific poll of 300 likely voters, 58% of which said they were opposed to this specific measure, 23% of which said they were supportive of it, and 18% of which said, "Huh?" I mean, they just had no opinion. That group that always seems not to know for sure what they want. But the fact is that a lot of people don't like this. And then on the other side, you have Congressman Carney saying, well, calls came into my office 2-to-1 in favor of some kind of reform. Well, you'd have to count me in that number. I definitely think we need some kind of reform. But I think we're doubling down on a system that's broken. And again, I'll explain. That's not just a phrase. I'll explain what that means when we get to health care.